Okay, so how to clone yourself in your business. This is going to be a quick system walkthrough, going through the exact system that you can implement yourself to free up a bunch of time, remove yourself from the day to day, and really just grow your business with essentially a team that can run the day to day without relying on you. Okay, so what I'm talking about specifically here is SOPs, or standard operating procedures. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh God, not another video around SOPs. This video and this system is honestly a very unique way of creating SOPs that I've not seen before. And it's something you can implement today to start creating SOPs very, very easily within your business, and to start removing yourself and allowing your team to run the day to day without needing you. Okay. So before I get right into the system, I just quickly want to run through kind of what is an SOP for those who don't know. So an SOP is a written set of instructions that explains how to do a task in a consistent and standardized way. Okay. So you can really create an SOP for any process within your business. It could be client onboarding, outreach, service delivery, doesn't matter what it is, but essentially it's, as I said, a simple set of instructions that anyone can follow and can complete that specific process or task exactly how you would, which is how we're going to start to remove you and essentially clone yourself within your business, right? Because you can create SOPs and then essentially show your team how exactly you do a process, and now they can start executing on that task for you. Okay, so it's a very, very effective way, as I said, of increasing efficiency, standardizing the business, and removing yourself. So why would you want to create SOPs in the first place? Well, you want to be able to delegate tasks. It's going to help you create more time. It's going to help you improve efficiency. It's going to help you minimize operational fires, because the team can now perform certain processes and know exactly what to do instead of making mistakes that you have to then, jump on and basically put those fires out. You can obviously step away from the daily operations. And as I said a second ago, SOPs can really be made for absolutely everything. So the problem is that most business owners don't want to create SOPs because it's super boring, super unsexy, time consuming, and it's hard to maintain. Okay, and this really comes into the problem, which is the old way of creating SOPs, which is creating long and complicated documents that are hard to understand and take a lot of time to make, which can be overwhelming for yourself, right? If you have so many different processes and you want to create SOPs, but they're taking you hours and hours to create, that can get very frustrating, and you end up just not bothering to create them in the first place. And of course, as well, if you are to create the SOP, as your business expands and evolves, it becomes important to update those SOPs, which can also be difficult to maintain. Now, one other thing I want to add within here is that you can spend hours and hours and hours creating SOPs, these big written documents, only for your team to never even read them, which is also super frustrating, right? So what I'm going to show you here is, as I said, a simple system that's going to allow you to effortlessly create SOPs so you can, as I said, delegate, free up time, and actually make sure your team watch the SOPs as well in a way for you to create them that doesn't take you much time. Okay. So the new way is to create the SOP, document it, organize, maintain, and then have a system to update those. Okay. And as I said, that's what I want to run you through here. Now, the actual structure of this system, as I said, is this here, pretty much what I just went through. Okay. And the required tech stack for this system is Loom, ChatGPT, Notion, and Airtable. So we're keeping it simple, but it's a very effective system, as I said, to really achieve this, to easily create, easily document, easily organize them so your team can find them, and then have a system up in place that automatically updates them and allows your team to easily maintain the quality of the SOPs, right? Because as I said, if your business grows and changes, it's going to get hard to actually manage the overall it's going to be hard to basically keep them updated, right, as your business grows and expands, which is also important for standardizing, removing yourself, making sure that operational fires aren't breaking out and all that stuff. So guys, before we get into this, if you have any questions, as I said, do let me know. But yeah, let's jump into the system. Step one is creating the SOPs. Okay. Now, as I said earlier, the old way of creating SOPs is sitting down and writing a massive document that no one's going to read, and it's going to take you hours upon hours to create, and it's just a complete waste of time. Now, what I found to be the best and easiest way to create SOPs is not writing them down, it's actually creating a video on a certain process. And to do that, I use a tool called loom.com. You've probably heard of it if you're watching this video. It's what I'm recording this video with here. But if you don't know what it is, Loom is just a simple screen recording Chrome extension. If you go on like Google Chrome extensions, you can install it. I think it also has like a desktop app. But what it does is it allows you to, as I said, just screen record, right? And in doing so, it allows you to visually demonstrate the steps of a process while also adding audio to explain the reasoning behind decisions. So this means you can record and share processes with your team, enabling them to complete tasks just like you would, okay? So let's say I had an SOP I wanted to create around client onboarding and what needs to be set up for the client, okay? And I want to pass that down to my team. Well, instead of writing a document, I'm going to create a video just like the one you're watching here with my microphone and with me talking over it. And I'm going to show exactly how I would do this process, and then I'm going to store that so the team can watch it and rewatch it as many times as they want, so that they can see exactly how I would do the process. And this is how we get into the idea of almost like cloning yourself in a way, right? Because now you're showing your team exactly how you would do a process, and that's going to enable them to, as I said, complete the task just like you would. Okay, so that's the first step. And to show you what obviously a video on Loom looks like, it comes into something like this. You can copy the link, you can write the title up here. This is just like an old one that I created as an example. Now, in all honesty, the next step that I'm about to show you is also how to create, alongside the video SOP, a written SOP in seconds. Okay, now you could skip this part of the process, but I'm still going to include it because I think it is important. And I know if you're running a business, some people want to have written SOPs as well. Okay, so what I did was I figured out a way to easily create written SOPs, okay, based off the Loom video that we created. Okay, and it's very, very simple. So once you've created your SOP on Loom, as you can see here, what you want to do and what is so good about Loom is that you can actually copy the entire transcript, right, of the video, so that everything that was said in the video. So you find that by just clicking on this edit symbol here, or I think you can click this transcript button here. And I said that opens up this. And then what you can do is you can either download the captions or you can copy the entire transcript, right? So if I click copy on here, and then what we're going to use is we're going to use ChatGPT and AI to actually create the SOP for us, okay? So if I quickly show you what I did, firstly, I paste in the transcript into ChatGPT and I just ask it to remove all the numbers, right? And what it does is, if I scroll down, it's quite long. It gives me the entire transcript without the numbers in, right? So this is essentially an entire description or transcript of the SOP that I created on how to clean the company name, right? Which I can pass down to my team, right? And then the next step that you want to do is, and I've provided this in the document, and by the way, guys, this document will be underneath the video, so you can use this straight away, is I've created a ChatGPT prompt to create the SOP for me, okay? So this is a prompt that I now copy into ChatGPT, and then I paste the transcript of the video from the SOP underneath it. And what we're telling ChatGPT to do here is to create a simple, concise SOP that is easy enough for a 12-year-old to understand and follow the instructions, okay? And then I'm also giving ChatGPT the structure of the SOP. So you can see here there's purpose, process, and then FAQs, okay? So what I'm basically telling ChatGPT to do here is to, as I said, create the SOP in this order, as well as come up with additional questions that might be asked around this specific particular process, okay? So what I do is I go ahead and copy and paste this prompt into ChatGPT. So you can see it's here. This prompt is here. And then once I've done that, in the same kind of message, I then paste the transcript below, right? So if I was to now copy and paste this, I want to kind of show you how cool this is. If I was to copy and paste this whole thing like here, and then go to a new, just a new chat and paste this in, as you can see here, you can see how the entire transcript's there with the prompt instructions and the structure that I would like the SOP to be created in. And I'm going to click enter and give it a couple of seconds. And what's going to happen is it's now created the entire SOP for me with steps, right? Now, this has saved me a bunch of time because now I don't have to go and write this myself. Now, it may not be perfect because obviously it's coming from here, but for the most part, and I've tested this a lot, it gets the overall process pretty correct, okay? So what this is going to enable you to do is, as I said, all you have to do is create the video SOP on Loom and then just paste the transcript with the prompt into ChatGPT, and that will create the written SOP for you. And what it essentially means is that you can see here, it's added questions to different ones based off of what was said in the video. And as I said, what this essentially means is that you can provide your team and even your clients, if you need to give SOPs to your clients for them to complete stuff. But what it means is that you can essentially provide them with not only a video SOP, but a written SOP, and it's taken you no time at all to actually create this yourself, okay? So that is pretty much step one, and this is around creating SOPs. This is really the most easy and simple way that I've found to create them, and this is something you can start doing today for different processes in your business to make your life so much more easy, okay? Because you can start delegating, you can free up a bunch of time, and you can just really start standardizing different areas of your business, okay? Now, the next area I want to focus on is, again, kind of like a second part of what I was just touching on here, is where to actually document the SOPs. Now, there's not really a right or wrong way to do this. You could use Google Docs if you wanted to store your SOPs. But one thing that I personally prefer is Notion, okay? And Notion is what you're looking at here, to actually store the the video and the document itself. Okay. So what you want to do is go to your kind of Notion board, create an account, and have somewhere like a page called SOPs. Okay. And then once you do that, you want to create a page for the specific SOP. Okay. So for this one, it's SOP. I mean, I'll probably copy this here, copy the title and put it in here. And then I'm going to create a page. And all I'm doing is I'm going to put in the video walkthrough, like here. And then again, what's really cool is that you can copy and you can paste that and you can embed the Loom. So now that's going to embed the video, as you can see. And then underneath this now, I'm going to put in a divider and I'm going to put here what ChatGPT gave me. Okay. So I'm just going to copy this whole thing, copy and paste that into here. And now you can see that that has provided me in seconds with an SOP. And all I've done is create the video, which took me 13 minutes to show that process. Okay, that's the length of the video. Then I took the transcript, put it in ChatGPT, and now I've stored this in here. Okay, and now this is where we keep the SOP. So this is something that I think is also very important for businesses who are trying to scale and do so with less waste. And I think organization comes into a big part of that. So making sure you have somewhere to easily document your processes and just everything around your business. And as I said, you can use Google Drive, or you can use Notion. I'm sure there's other tools you can use as well. I just prefer Notion, just because of how it looks and the stuff you can do, such as embedding and adding images and all that stuff as well. But as I said, this now will act as an SOP that I can just send to my team. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. You want to just, as I said, go ahead and create somewhere within your Notion called like SOP library or SOP database, and then start creating the individual SOPs. But the next step is actually one step further, and that's how to really organize the SOPs in a database. Now, as I said earlier, what you really could do is you could remove completely the written side of the SOP. So what I mean by that specifically is you could do, if you wanted to be super efficient and to keep things super simple, is just make the video and record it and not bother with creating a written document using ChatGPT and not even bother with storing them on Notion or Google Drive like this, right? I wanted to include this, as I said, because I know some people and some businesses will like to have written documents and written SOPs, which is why I wanted to include that. But as I said, in all honesty, you could just skip this part and you could just record the Loom and then store it in a database to help you organize the SOPs and maintain the SOPs, which is what I'm going to show you how to do now. Okay, so this is coming on to step 3. And to organize and update the SOPs efficiently, we need one centralized system. Okay, and as I said, without proper organization and updates, you may face inefficiencies and operational issues. Okay, so what I'm talking about here is having somewhere to organize your SOPs and keep them updated very, very easily. Because again, what people do, or what businesses do, is they'll create an SOP, they'll store it on Google Drive or they'll store it on Notion, and then it will get forgotten about and they'll never touch it again. Okay, now we don't want to do that, because SOPs are very, very effective when used correctly. And on top of that, what happens if a process changes within your business? You need to have somewhere that is very, very easy to update the SOPs, right? Because again, if you were to update your service or update your outreach strategy or update your client onboarding process, then that needs to change, right? And the team need to know how to do that new process, okay? So for this step, we're going to be using a tool called Airtable.com to easily store, organize, and automate our SOP maintenance process, okay? So in case you don't know, I'm sure most of you do, but Airtable is an online platform for making and sharing databases, okay? So it's a little bit like a fancy Excel spreadsheet or a fancy Google Sheets, but you can do a lot more with it, okay? And the reason why I love Airtable so much, because it's very easy to use and it lets anyone quickly store, arrange, and work together on information about different things, as I said, like client operations, projects, and standard operating procedures, okay? Just quickly on the difference, so between, like Excel and Google Sheets and Airtable. So Excel and Google Sheets are mainly just like databases, right? Airtable is also a database, but it allows you to do more complex stuff. So you can basically build quite complex and advanced systems, and it also has built-in automation, which really makes it stand out as a tool, and I use it for a lot of different things, okay? So what I'm going to quickly do now is show you how to build an SOP vault or a SOP base on Airtable, which I said is going to allow you to really organize all your different SOPs, and then I'm going to show you how to set up automation to update them, okay? So what you're going to want to do is head over to airtable.com, make sure your account is created. I'll be honest, it would be easier for this system to run if you have the pro plan. It's pretty cheap, it's like $20 a month, but that gives you just access to added things. But you could still build out the system on the free plan. Their free plan is also very good. So what you want to do is, come over to Airtable and go on to create a base. Okay, now we're going to name this base, something like just the SOP base for now, right? And then you can put your company name. I'm just going to put example. Again, you can choose the colors, the appearance, all that stuff. Okay. But as I said, what we're looking at here is the table view. Okay. And this is in a way like a Google spreadsheet, how we have different columns. Okay. I'm not going to go into like the absolute details of Airtable in this video. I have to make another video on that. But essentially here, what you're looking at, as I said, is like a spreadsheet in itself. Okay. And how we have different columns for different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the SOP database now and show you how you can set this up. So the first column, we're going to have a title, right? So the SOP title, what is it going to be? I'm going to click save. Now I'm going to get rid of these columns and I'm going to delete these. Now, the first thing we're going to want is, and you can see here, when you click on a new column, you have different field types. So you have stuff like single line text, long text, attachments, checkboxes, all different stuff, dates, emails, URLs, all that stuff. For this one, I'm going to create a URL field and I'm going to call this just like the resource or something like that. And I'm going to click create. And you can see now that's created this column here, right? And now what I'm going to do is go ahead and create a bunch of different basically columns that I'm going to use to build this database. So I've just gone ahead and created these columns. And you can see there's a couple of different ones here. We have title, resource, process, created on, so the date the SOP was created, the date it was last modified, and the date, and sorry, who it was last modified by, okay? So these columns are pretty straightforward. When you go to the plus symbol, you can add them. So you can see there's created time, that is the created on column. Last modified time is last modified, and then last modified by. And then the one I want to show you here is this column here called process. So when you go to create this is a single select field. And what you can do here is add options. And the process, you don't have to name it process. You could name it operation or something like that. But this is like what category is the SOP found within, right? Or what category is the SOP about? So we have, I'm going to keep this simple: outreach, sales, service delivery, client onboarding, reporting, and let's say communication, something like this, right? So you can see here we've created these different fields, and I'm going to click save. And now when I click on this box, I have these options, okay? So now what we've done is here we've created a very basic SOP table where we can actually put our SOPs within. So what I can do here is I can take the title of the SOP, I can put it in like this. The resource will be the link to either the Loom video or the document you created. So if I was to copy this link here, click share, click publish, publish to web, turn this off, and then copy the link like this, and then come back to here, paste that in. So you can see now that link is in here. The process, this was around, let's say for this example, this is an outreach process. It was created on, it was last modified on, and it was me that done it, okay? So that right there, I've stored that in here now. But now what I want to do is I want to basically segment SOPs for different areas of my business. So what you want to do is you want to click on the top bar here, there's different things you can click on. You want to click on group, and then it should say group by, and then the one you can click that is kind of available is process, okay? And that's the single select column that I just created with you here. So when I click on that now, you can see that it's actually separated the two rows that have no process and the one that are for outreach, right? So now what I can do, if I just start filling in some example ones in here, like this, and then I can now select these. Select this one is service delivery, this one is client onboarding. You can see now that what I'm doing is I'm separating my different SOPs into categories, essentially is what this is, okay? And it allows us to, as I said, easily now organize our SOPs into different sections. And again, you can share this base with your entire team, so they can now come onto here and just see specifically, if there's something that needs to be done within the service delivery or client onboarding, whatever it is, they can now see on here very easily, oh, right, here's all the SOPs around service delivery with the title, the link to the SOP, when it was created on, and when it was last modified, and who modified it last, right? So what you want to do is over here on the left, this is called the view. This is the table view. You can rename this something like the master view, like this. And then what I also like to do is, if I move this out of the way, I like to create, essentially, as I said, categories. So what you want to do is click on this create kind of pop up here and create a new section. And what I'm going to do is put category like here. And then what you can do is, if you want to kind of segment these even further, again, this is kind of like an extra step. You don't need to do this, but what you can do is you can right click on the master view, duplicate the view, drag that into category, and this is going to be our outreach SOP table, right? So we're separating these. So what we do is now on this new view, you can see here's the master view, here's the new view that I just duplicated and renamed outreach. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the group field that we done. So it's now back to normal. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on filter, add a condition. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select where process is outreach. Okay. And then what you can also do is you can expand the views by clicking this row height here, so you can see them a little bit larger. You can also expand each record individually. So if I click on this here, it's now showing me kind of this record. A record is like a row in Airtable. It's showing this in like a lot more detail. Okay, so I can, you or the team can open this stuff up and see everything regarding this SOP, right? And now, as I said, this view here is only going to be for outreach SOPs, right? And again, I can create another one for client onboarding like this. And then I'm going to select the filter where process is client onboarding, right? And now you see we've got our example one in here. If you wanted to go a little bit of a step further, what you could probably do is group within here and go see all fields and then go on created on, and then that will just group them when they were created on. But again, that's probably not necessary. Just keep it nice and simple. So as I said, you'll have all different pages for different SOPs, and then you also have your master view as well. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much how you can create a very simple but effective database for organizing your SOPs, seeing when they were created, seeing when they were last modified, and who they were last modified by. And then, as I said, you can give your team access to this, and it can act as just a database where you can essentially standardize every process within your business, okay, and keep it nice and organized and nice, and less, make it a lot less stressful, at least when it comes to organizing all this stuff, okay. But now there is one last part of the process that I want to show you, okay, and this really comes down to what I was talking about earlier, which is once you've created the SOP, once you've stored it somewhere, how do you now maintain the SOP, right? Because what happens, when we're running businesses is that things change as we grow, different processes change. So how do we essentially make sure that our SOPs are up to date so that the team can still function, the efficiency is still super, super high, and that you're maintaining just that real efficient process throughout your business, right? Well, in order to do that, we're going to utilize the power of Airtable automation, okay? So what I'm going to show you here is how to create a simple automation on Airtable to notify you when SOPs are kind of like out of date or need to be checked and updated. And again, this is something that you can get your team to do as well, to make sure that, as I said, things aren't going out of date and that you're staying on top of this stuff. As I said, I've already shown you how to create these SOPs super, super easily and super quickly. But as I said, it's no good just creating them and then storing them somewhere and then never seeing them again. It's also effective to, actually update them. So if I go back up here and we go over to here. So as I said, it's important to keep them updated because things will change. Things can break if you don't and you're left picking up the pieces. So however, if you go, with a lot of going on in the business, how can you effectively keep track of them? So this is where, as I said, the Airtable automation comes in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over back to our SOP base. And by this point, you'll have your master view. By the way, you could also create another section and just call it like master or something like that. And you can move that into here, and then you can bring this at the top. So it will look like, drag this into here. And you can see now it's got the master view and then each category breakdown as well. And then also create another view called just like other, or you can call it maintenance like this. So what I'm going to show you now is how to set up a simple automation to make sure that SOPs are updated every kind of 60 or 90 days. Okay. So what you want to do is head over to the automation tab at the top here within your SOP base, and you're going to see something like this. So before you go ahead and start with this automation, what I want you to do is head over to your Slack channel and create a private channel called SOP maintenance. Okay. This is a channel that you can add all of your team to so that they can be notified as well. And as I said, this is going to act as the place where it alerts us when SOPs need to be updated. Okay. So once you've created this channel, it doesn't have to be a private channel, but as I said, you can make it private and add whoever you like. You want to come back to Airtable, and here we're going to add a trigger onto our automation. Okay. So you're going to want to click this, and the one you're going to want to click is when a record matches a condition. Okay. And it's going to jump to basically something like this. We're going to select our table. Table 1 is what we're using because that's on our database here, table 1 in the top left here. So we're going to go to here and we're going to select table 1, and then we're going to create a condition. Okay, so this is basically telling Airtable that only run this automation when a specific record, and again, a record is a row, or in other words, it will be only run this automation when an SOP matches this condition. Okay, so we're going to click on here, add condition, when the last modified, so this is the last modified date, is before, and then on here, instead of exact date, we're going to click number of days ago, and I'll have to scroll over on here. Actually, I'll expand this a bit so you can see it. So when last modified is before, number of days ago, we're going to click, and again, this is up to you how you want to do it. It could be 90 days if you want. So essentially what we're saying here is that if the last modified is 90 days ago, you could probably actually also have it as is number of days ago 90. Actually, that would probably be a better way of doing it. I think both ways work. I've tested it. But you can do when last modified is 90 days ago. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to send a notification in Slack to say, hey team, please make sure that, this SOP has not been updated in over, in 3 months or 90 days, right? We need to check it and see if it needs to be updated so that we can continue to, hit our, efficiencies and make sure that, we're staying on top of our processes within our business. Okay. So we're going to go choose record. Now, there isn't a record at the moment, right? Because I've only just created this base and the SOP is not 90 days old. So it's not going to show anything, right? So what you can do is you can actually just skip this part and click add advanced logic or action. Okay, so this button in the middle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go onto Slack and then we're going to click send message. Okay, now you want to have to connect your Slack channel here. Okay, so just go ahead and do that. It's pretty straightforward. But once you do, you're going to select your account and you're going to select the channel or the user. But for this, we're going to use the channel. So the one we created was SOP maintenance. So we're going to click on this and you can type this in. So SOP maintenance like here. And now we're going to put in our channel message. So what we want to do is just notify the team. So we're going to go at channel, and that's going to make sure it tags the actual channel and alerts everyone who's in it. And we can put something like, hey team, there are SOPs that are 90 days without being updated, something like this. Please can you check and make sure that they are up to date? Thanks. Something like this, right? Can maybe change it to that. And then under here, what you want to do a space down, and then this little symbol in the top right, you want to click on this plus symbol. And what we're going to do is we're going to send over a list of the SOPs that essentially are 90 days without being updated. So you click on list, and then you can select here what you would like to show. So it'd be like the title, the process, and the last modified, right? And I'm going to click insert. And now that's going to list all of the records that match that. So what I mean by this is that let's say you have 10 SOPs that where 90 days has passed and they haven't been updated or modified, okay, or they just haven't been checked over in 90 days, then as I said, what's going to happen here is Airtable is going to find all of those individual records that match this condition. So let's say there's 5 of them, and it's going to put all 5 of them nice and organized in the actual Slack message so you and your team can see which ones they are. And then what you can also do is do a space down, and then I'm going to put find on Airtable like this. And then I'm going to click the plus symbol again, and I'm going to click on base record URL. Okay, so that's going to give me the URL to the base of the SOP base, okay, which makes it a lot handier as well. Now the bot name, we can just put SOP maintenance, something like this. You could put the date as well, maybe something like last modified or something like that. And then that's it. So now we have our message, we have our Slack channel, and we have the bot name as well. So what you want to do is you want to click on run as configured. And then what should happen is it should send a message in a second. Let's see, run the test. Yeah, so that's it. So it's going to run the test. It might not work right now because there isn't a record to be found, but let's see. Right, so no, it's not going to work because there isn't a record found, okay? So what you want to do is you just want to turn on the automation, right? Because it will definitely work, but as I said, you just want to turn it on. What you could probably do actually is create a test one. So let's see if we can use a suggested record. No, it's not going to let us find it because, again, there's no records at the moment that match this that we can use right now, okay? So as I said, all you want to do is just ignore this error because it will work. And as I said, once you follow those steps, that will now be ready to go. So I wonder if we can generate a preview actually. No, it's not going to let us do it. Okay, so I just went and quickly updated the record. So I just created a date and made it 90 days ago, just to show you as an example. So for this example, it's when date, but it will be, as I said, when last modified is before, number of days ago, 90. I'm going to click choose record like this, and now you can see the record is showing, right, as an example. I'm going to click on that. Then I'm going to go to Slack, to the Slack step, and then I'm going to click run as configured and run a test. And now you can see that this Slack message has been sent. So, hey team, some SOPs are 90 days without being updated. Please can you check and make sure they are up to date? And then it's given me the specific record with the URL. So if I go to my Slack, it's now in here. So you can see it comes through something like this. Again, you can modify this message to however you like, but this now is going to be in the SOP maintenance channel, and it's going to notify the team that, hey, this SOP, it's been 90 days since it was created. Please just check through it and see if we need to update it, okay? And then also the link as well, which you can click on, and it will take you straight to the SOP base, right? So once you've done that and you've tested it, just maybe name it to like SOP maintenance, something like this, 90 days. And then what we do is we turn it on, and that is it. And then now we have a SOP base that automatically updates us. So from this system, as I said, going back to here, I've shown you how to create the SOP. That's using Loom to record the process that you would like to, document. Then we're using the transcript and the AI or ChatGPT prompt to allow ChatGPT to go ahead and create the SOP document for us. Then we are documenting that SOP, both the video and text process within Notion, okay, to make it super, super organized and super clean. And then we're creating our SOP base on Airtable, which is super organized. We're categorizing every area of our business. We're showing when the SOP was created, when it was last modified and updated, and who updated it also. Don't worry about this column now. That was just for the automation purpose there. And then we're categorizing everything to make it super organized as well and very easy to find different SOPs. And then the last step is maintaining and updating the SOPs, which we're leveraging the power of automation to remind our team when SOPs need to be updated using Airtable automation. And again, this is off now because I just deleted that column. But yeah, so guys, that is pretty much the whole system. As I said, it's super effective. If you want, you can easily skip the Notion and ChatGPT part by just creating the Loom recording and then storing it into the SOP base, right? That's if you want to make it a little bit more, if you want to save time creating SOPs. But if you do want to make it super dialed in and have written documents to go alongside it, then of course follow this process to create the SOP document using ChatGPT and put it in here as well. So guys, that is the end of the video. I'm going to provide this SOP underneath the video, so check out that in the description. And of course, if there's any questions, please let me know in the comments. And if you are looking for better systems in your business, more time, and really just want to remove waste from your business and life so you can actually scale up and really live a much more less chaotic life, then obviously chat to us at Click Systems. This is what we do full time, building custom systems to really streamline your business and just unlock unlimited scalability for you. So yeah, guys, see you in the next one. And yeah, speak soon. Cheers.